what do compatibilists and flat earthers have in common? So, we live in a flat earth. Our shoes are flat, our beds are flat, the horizon is flat, ships don't fall off the sea. So, does it matter that the earth is actually round from miles above? No, it doesn't. Why? Because for us, it's flat, and that's the flat earth worth wanting, because the other kind of flat earth doesn't exist. And that the earth is flat is only so because the earth is actually round. And that's how Daniel Dennett talks about free will. He has taken the round earth, rather he has taken the flat earth and has made it about the small things, the things that we see, but the earth is round and free will doesn't exist. That's simple. It's that simple. Free will doesn't exist the same way the earth is round. Does free will seem to exist to us when we try to make a choice? Maybe. Does the earth seem flat when we are walking down the street? Of course. That doesn't mean that the earth is flat. And it doesn't mean that the earth being round doesn't have huge consequences in terms of worldwide traveling and navigation, in terms of science, in terms of understanding the universe. And free will not existing has serious ramifications in terms of the way we construct societies, the legal system, the psychology of a person, thinking or not thinking that what their thought has told them is chosen by them. And it has ramifications on our psychology. So, what is the free will worth wanting? It's the same as the flat earth worth wanting. It's not about want though, is it? It's not about whether we want to have flat earth or not. We do. In some scale, the earth is kind of flat. In the same sense, free will exists only in the way you perceive things. It's not a matter of metaphysics for those people. It's not a matter of truth. It's a matter of convenience, but the truth shouldn't always be convenient. And free will, the absence of free will, is not convenient because we have constructed our societies and, in some sense, our psychology with the idea that it is, but that's wrong, and that brings suffering that could be avoided if we do away with that kind of thinking. So, for example, Daniel Dennett, the famous compatibilist, freely admits that free will, in the sense of an entity choosing their thoughts with an ability to have done otherwise in the past, without any change in the rest of the universe, doesn't exist. But he says that's not the free will that is relevant. Yeah? Are you sure? Are you sure that not having control of anything is irrelevant? Are you sure about that? How have you come to that conclusion? I don't know, it sounds crazy to me. But what he's talking is about a different thing, okay? It's about free choice. It's something that has to do with civics, with maybe political science and philosophy, maybe psychology, but it isn't what free will is about. Free will is not free choice. It's not civic freedom. It's not about democracy. It's not about liberty. The words free and will are bound together for a reason. And that reason is they mean something specific and not what Daniel wants them to mean. So, does not having free will has ramifications? Absolutely. And those are what compatibilists are afraid of. It's like a flat earther saying, yeah, the earth is round, but does it really matter? It's actually flat. When I walk, it's flat. When I drive, it's flat. When I sail, it's flat. Even when I fly, it's flat. So what does it matter? Well, it does matter. And not having free will does matter. And the free will worth wanting is the same as flat earth worth wanting. It's worth understanding how it is false. And then you can see what that does to your beliefs about moral responsibility and morality in general. But first you have to find the truth, don't you? How can you try to preserve your values without the truth? It's crazy. It's wrong. And we can see some ramifications, some consequences, some bad consequences in society. We put too much blame sometimes. And we put it on the supposed freedom of individuals to will what they will. And it's a mistake. But of course, it's a mistake that is functional. So we keep bringing it with us generation after generation, but it's not really functional. It's not truly functional. The same way as believing that the earth is flat may lead you from A to B in everyday life, but if you want to calculate a certain distance between two spots, or you want to sail to India via the Atlantic Ocean, you will encounter some new lands, or in the case of free will, problems. So no, it's not worth wanting. Nothing is worth wanting if it doesn't correlate with the truth. At least in philosophy, alright? We are friends of wisdom, supposedly. So if you are friends of wisdom, why not begin with the truth? And not with what you want to be true or what you want to preserve, and see if what you want to preserve can be preserved. Values like responsibility or liberty, without what is wrong, which is the notion of free will in the level of metaphysics. The sense of if determinism is true, then the free will worth wanting doesn't lie in determinism. And of course that's only Daniel Dennett's view. There are some compatibilists that actually believe that there is free will even in the metaphysical level, regardless of nobody being able to choose their fate in a very real sense. Regardless of if they were presented with a frozen bread loaf of what has happened, they can still assign freedom of will. But in essence, this as well is changing what free will is supposed to mean. You can't will free, you can't choose what you want, you can't choose what you think. How is that freedom? You have to change the meaning of the word freedom. You mean liberty. Okay, it's not free will. Okay, so there are some differences with the flat earth people. Flat earthers actually can't fathom that the earth is round the way Daniel Dennett can understand that actual free will doesn't exist. And flat earth is all but extinct in today's discourse, whereas compatibilism is still a leading philosophy. It's a popular philosophy. They say that it's more popular than incompatibilism, and that's sad. But that's where the analogy breaks down. But if you are like me, hearing at a compatibilist trying to convince you that determinism doesn't matter in terms of actual metaphysical freedom of a self, of an ability to do otherwise, then you hear them and they sound like flat earthers. Okay. So I think that's all for today.